questions, and for the sake of time, I'll end there.
Thank you. Committee, any questions? Ms. Clemmer?
I did have a question. The question I asked earlier was somewhat rhetorical, but I will ask, since you want us to do this, what will we gain if we are educating people who are not legally here? I'm talking about in practicality. What have we gained? We have 4-year degree illegals that can't get employed. What is it that we're gaining?
I think the disadvantages of doing this outweigh the advantages. I mean, again, I think it takes us in the wrong path, and I think, quite frankly, we need to be headed in the other direction. I know the Dream Act may or may not come up this session, and but given that 9 other states have already done that, I think that's where we need to be headed, and it's working in 9 other states. So we know it's working there.
But,
So
I'm sorry, but who's getting employed by? I mean, who? I just want to know. I mean, what? We have a law on the books that says if you're illegal, you have to fill out a 9-9 or some show documentation.
I mean, I probably cannot answer that question, quite frankly, because I don't know who's graduated, I mean, what jobs they've taken and all that. So so I don't have any data to answer that question with, quite frankly.
Thank you.
Mrs. Hobbs, do you have a question?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm a little bit confused because from what I heard from your testimony, you are telling me that the students that are already attending our colleges are here legally. Is that what I understood you say, that it was not a problem?
Well,
they were already enforcing this law?
Well, based on what I've heard, I've not heard any systematic evidence, and I don't think there's been any systematic evidence presented to the committee today that this is a problem in terms of large numbers of undocumented students attending universities, much less qualifying for in-state tuition rates. I've not heard any systematic evidence like that. I've not seen any. And I know for at least the last couple of years, universities have required students to show proof of legal status before they can grant them in-state tuition rates. So as far as I know, this is not a problem. I've not seen any evidence to the contrary. I sure have not heard any evidence presented to this committee today. Now, that doesn't mean that the Department of Ed may or may not have other numbers. I can't speak to that. I don't work for them. But based on what I've heard today and based on what little numbers I've seen, this is this is not a problem. And there's already federal law out there. And so why do we need to pass this bill if it's not a problem?
Thank you. You also mentioned something effective, the perception of Arkansas to other states if we were to pass this law. Do you believe there is a perception that this is a problem?
As far as I know, there's not a perception that that this is a problem right now. But I think passing this legislation could send the wrong message to potential employers outside of the state thinking about wanting to come here. I think it sends the wrong message in terms of Arkansas being an open and inclusive state that welcomes people and that wants to really promote higher education. And I think we've all heard the numbers recently about how Arkansas has too few college graduates, and this does not help there.
Thank you. One other question, if I may. You mentioned several states in your testimony. Do you happen to know what the state of their budget is in those states?
I do not, ma'am.
Thank you.
I mean, that would be easy to find out, but I just didn't come prepared with that information.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.